again, but we're going to begin today with more on the Trump visit to the UK. So Donald Trump has gone home after a day with King Charles on Wednesday and then a day with Keir Starmer yesterday, and it must have been very exciting for him. Now, I'm going to apologise for doing this in advance, but let's begin with an impression of what happened on Wednesday at Windsor Castle, because this all happened after the news programme on Wednesday.
Mr. President, Mrs. Trump, it is with great pleasure that my wife and I welcome you to Windsor Castle on this, your second state visit to the United Kingdom. This unique and important occasion reflects the enduring bond between our two great nations, anchored by the deep friendship between our people. This relationship, which with good reason, we and our predecessors have long called special, has made us safer and stronger through the generations.
Your Majesty, Melania and I are deeply grateful to you and Queen Camilla for your extraordinary graciousness. And to William and Kate, thank you so much. It's been so great being with you today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's a singular privilege to be the first American president welcomed here. And if you think about it, it's a lot of presidents, and this was the second state visit, and that's the first, and maybe that's going to be the last time. I hope it is, actually. But this is truly one of the highest honors of my life.
So it's the highest honor of his life.
You said the last state visit. I hope he doesn't mean for future U.S. presidents or just for him. I wasn't sure. With Donald, you never know.
No, I know that. But anyway, as I say, notably absent from that dinner, by the way, was Prince Andrew. I wonder why. But Trump then, of course, moved to Chequers yesterday. And there was a press conference held at the end of the day. They emphasized the special relationship between Britain and the United States. They presented a apparently united front on Ukraine. And they also on war more generally, actually. And Trump said he felt really let down, Patrick, by Vladimir Putin, particularly in regard to the war in Ukraine. Trump had expected, he said, the conflict to be easier to resolve given his past relations with Putin. And then Starmer said that the UK is leading on encouraging stronger pressure on Russia, in other words, keeping the war going as fast as they can or as much as they can. Trump urged Starmer to use strong measures to curb irregular migration. And he even went as far as to suggesting deploying the military on the beaches. It was, other than that, the usual nonsense. But towards the end of the press conference, there was, of course, a Q&A, and a Sky journalist asked, well, about the elephant in the room. Let's just listen to this.
Finally, if I may, the elephant in the room, Lord Mandelson, he is no longer the ambassador. Do you have some sympathy with him that he lost his job over historic links to Jeffrey Epstein? Thank you very much, sir.
I don't know him, actually. I had heard that, and I think maybe the Prime Minister would be better speaking of that. That was a choice that he made, and I don't know. What is your answer to that?
Well, I mean, it's very straightforward. Some information came to light last week which wasn't available when he was appointed, and I made a decision about it, and that's very clear. On the question of the pressure on Putin and
So basically, they couldn't change the subject quick enough, Patrick.
Starmer looked very uncomfortable when Trump punted to him on the Mandelson question. Trump likes to do that. He likes to punt when he doesn't know what to say. And Starmer got caught off guard there.
Absolutely. But it was Gaza, which perhaps indicated a tension between them, certainly on that topic anyway. Starmer said the UK would recognise a Palestinian state. Not sure that he said when, but anyway, he said it would, as part of a broader peace package. Trump disagreed with that plan, and well, then this happened.
Well, let me be really clear about Hamas. They're a terrorist organisation who can have no part in any future governance in Palestine. And what happened on October the 7th was the worst attack since the Holocaust. we have extended family in Israel. I understand firsthand the psychological impact that had across Israel. So I know exactly where I stand in relation to Hamas. Hamas, of course, don't want a two-state solution. They don't want peace. They don't want a ceasefire.
I find that completely obscene, Patrick. Not only, well, I mean, the Trump smacking Starmer on the back, that was slightly weird in a certain way, but this idea that psychological damage is equivalent to tens of thousands of deaths is just obscene.
I mean, the threat of annihilation is somehow Trump's actual genocide. The report from the UN came out. We'll talk about that later. But all this talk about the free the hostages. There's 10,000 Palestinians being held in arbitrary detention by the Israeli government. And that's part of the negotiations. That's been part of the ceasefire. For Starmer to say Hamas doesn't want peace, doesn't want a ceasefire is patently false. They've been in negotiations, multiple rounds, even before Trump was sworn into office. So I don't know what Keir Starmer is saying there, or he's just playing to Trump, showing that he is resolute and steadfast for Israel, all in for Israel. And that's what it looked like, because what Starmer said doesn't actually correspond to reality.
So what other coverage has it been on this issue of a Palestinian state?
Well, that's the big story, was when Starmer gave that kind of quid pro quo threat that if Israel doesn't somehow stop the forced starvation of an entire population in Gaza and work towards a negotiated settlement or ceasefire, that they'll be punished by Britain recognizing a Palestinian state. I mean, it's preposterous how he framed that anyway. But that deadline is September 22nd, which is coming up very quickly, I think early next week. So right. What's going to happen as a result of that? Let's take a look here. And again, going to the mainstream press here, papers of record, in this instance anyway, for The Guardian, Starmer to recognize a Palestinian state after Trump's visit. So let's take a look at that. This is basically the deal. Starmer threatened to, quote, recognize Palestine during the upcoming UN General Assembly unless Israel took decisive steps to end the suffering in Gaza, reach a ceasefire, refrain from annexing territory in the West Bank. All of these things Israel is either not doing or doing against what Starmer wants here, and commit to a peace process that results in a two-state solution. Israel's already categorically, Mike, ruled out a two-state solution. They don't want it. Right. The United States has ruled out a two-state solution. So we're saying this, really? Keir? Really? Did you actually say this? Do you actually mean this? Because it's patently impossible. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what this is other than, Mike, to buy time, because by the time they get around to actually recognizing a Palestinian state, there will be no more Palestinians in Gaza. They have been killed or they have been ethnically cleansed. And they're working on the West Bank as we speak, frog marching thousands of Palestinian men and people out of their homes, burning homes, settlers attacking Palestinians. I mean, that's what's happening now.
Right.
So what was this threat really about? Was it to buy time so Israel could change facts on the ground? Or was it, as we spoke about before the program, that it was designed to push Israel to finish the job? That's a black pill take.
Right.
But it does look like that's pretty realistic based on what we're looking at.
Indeed. Well, let's come back then to the Wednesday banquet for a moment, because the AI all-stars were there. Because as we mentioned on Wednesday's news, the 31 billion tech prosperity deal, including the announcement of the Stargate UK AI project, was made in time for Trump's arrival. But the AI crowd weren't the only ones with dollars in their eyes, dollar signs in their eyes. More US investment in the UK was announced. That's about 150 billion pounds of investment. That included 100 billion pounds investment pledge from Blackstone over the next decade into the UK. Blackstone claims that they have, quote, deployed more than 70 billion across over 100 businesses and investments in the UK over the past 20 years. supporting wide sectors, including housing, tourism, logistics. And so they're sticking another £100 billion in there as well. So that's good news, isn't it? Well, is it? Because, of course, what is Blackstone? A vulture capital firm. So this is an asset stripping exercise effectively. Anyway.
But just quickly, Mike, they're one of those large giant funds and firms that's buying up housing, right?
That's right, yeah.
In the UK, in America, and around Europe. So a certain percentage of people at some point will end up having Blackstone as their landlord.
Absolutely. 3.9 billion investment from this organization, Prologis, or they're another leading investment firm. This is apparently going to strengthen its investment in Cambridge Biomedical Campus and major upgrade of the Daventry International Rail Freight Terminal. All great stuff. This is, of course, supporting the growth in life sciences, which is something that both the Tories and the Labour Party have been absolutely determined to progress with.
Life science, translated, means big pharma.
Big pharma, but it also means genomics, specifically genomics research and so on. So that's that. You'll be delighted to know that Palantir gets its claws even further into the UK with another £1.5 billion to help make the UK a defence innovation leader and create 350 jobs, says the UK government, as it makes the UK its new European headquarters for war. The deal was signed by Secretary of State for War John Healey, as you can see on screen there at the moment. And it's going to help the UK military develop the latest digital tools and harness AI technology to accelerate decision-making, improve targeting, and keep British people safe. So we're going to keep British people safe by targeting, everybody else, it seems. And they say that some of these new capabilities will support development of what's known as the kill chain, whereby military planners fuse a wide range of information and data sources from open source and military platforms to provide military commanders with faster options for attacking an enemy target. This would form, they say, an element of the digital targeting web. And that, of course, was in the Strategic Defence Review. And we talked about that several weeks ago on this programme. So, when we're talking about the targeting of Palestinians in Doha or anywhere else, my question is, who's providing Israel with the targeting information? I think Britain has a part to play in that.
Well, the targeting of journalists in their homes using like the Knock Knock or Daddy's Home AI-driven apps that the IDF using to target journalists and their families. 350 jobs.
Yeah, that's impressive, isn't it?
A real shot of adrenaline to the economy. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, indeed. Let's quickly move on. 150 million investment, from American company Amentum, creating more than 3,000 jobs this time in Glasgow and Warrington, and also across the Midlands. Boeing is going to convert 2 737 aircraft in Birmingham for the US Air Force, so that's an impressive deal as well. This is the first US Air Force aircraft built in the UK for over 50 years, so that's 150 jobs. And US engineering firm Stax is another 37 million to expand their UK operations. And of course, that's all net zero and emissions reductions and so on. So, what can we say? Major funding into UK-based research and development startups. It's all about they say about accelerating, because it's all accelerationism at work here, accelerating growth in biotech, AI, and advanced manufacturing. So there we go. What can we say about that? Fantastic stuff.
So all the great deals coming to the UK, supposedly.
Yes.
So, interesting.
But that takes us then